It began as one of those days that blends into every other, predictable, quiet, almost dull. Nothing about that morning hinted at the storm waiting just beyond the horizon. I walked into work like I always did, but something in my gut felt off, like a warning I couldn't yet understand. For months, I had been living under the illusion of stability, blind to the truth my wife, Emma, had been hiding behind carefully crafted smiles. Emma, the woman I believed was loyal, compassionate, and honest. 5 years of marriage had convinced me she was someone I never needed to doubt. From the outside, our life looked picture perfect. A comfortable home, a circle of friends, shared dreams for the future. But as always, reality has a way of clawing its way to the surface when you least expect it. It started with tiny changes. Nothing dramatic, just enough to make me pause now and then. Emma suddenly had more work trips, more girls' nights, more excuses to be out late. She seemed distracted, mentally somewhere else, even when sitting right in front of me. I was so consumed by my own workload that I pushed the uneasiness aside. Then came the night I decided to surprise her with dinner. I got home earlier than usual, expecting an empty house. But her car was already in the driveway. The lights inside were dim. She wasn't bustling around the kitchen or humming along to music like she usually did. I found her in the living room, clutching her phone, which she hid the second she noticed me. Her reaction was too fast, too nervous. A crack in the image I had built of her, an image I kept trying to protect. As the weeks went on, more cracks appeared. A wine glass left out when she claimed she was meeting friends. Odd hours. Messages that she snatched her phone away to hide. Her defenses grew sharper every time I gently asked how her day had been. I couldn't keep pretending anymore. Desperation pushes people to do things they never imagined. So I hired a private investigator. The truth that came back shattered every illusion I had left. Emma wasn't working late. She wasn't with friends. She was seeing another man, Josh, someone she had met on a business trip. The investigator handed me everything: photos, conversations, call logs. They weren't just cheating, they had plans. Real plans. Plans to leave, to start over, to build a life together. It felt like the floor dropped out from beneath me. The betrayal was a physical punch. Rage burned through me, mixed with shame and heartbreak. But as the emotions settled, one thought became clear. I didn't need to explode. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to sink to their level. What I needed was control. So I chose silence. I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I mirrored her distance. I went out more. I focused on myself, my job, my health, my time. I made sure she saw me thriving even if she didn't understand why. I slowly detached step by step. While she drifted toward her affair, I quietly studied theirs. Josh was smug, overconfident. A man who thought love stories built on lies had happy endings. He told Emma exactly what she wanted to hear. But what he didn't know was that I had already positioned every piece of the board. When I finally invited Emma to dinner, she walked in believing she still had the upper hand. She thought she was keeping her secret perfectly intact. She wasn't. I kept the conversation light, her job, her trips, even Josh's name. She froze at that, confused by my calmness. Then I dropped the truth. I know about Josh. I know everything you've been hiding. You thought you were ahead of me, but I've been farther ahead than you ever realized. Her face turned white. Guilt flooded her expression, followed by fear. But that moment wasn't the end, it was only the beginning. I told her I had already handled everything on my side. Lawyers, finances, documentation. I had protected myself completely. She wouldn't be walking away with a single thing she assumed she'd receive. And then I turned my attention to Josh. I made sure he understood clearly that his little fantasy wasn't as private as he believed. I sent all the evidence, every message, every photo, to their HR departments. Their careers depended on professionalism, and they had obliterated that line. Both of them were fired. One by one, their carefully stacked lies collapsed. The divorce went through fast. Emma tried reaching out afterward, desperate, apologetic, begging for forgiveness. But I was already long gone emotionally. I wasn't the same man she thought she could deceive. As for Josh, his life spiraled. His reputation burned. The future he imagined vanished in an instant. They believed they were untouchable, that they were winning. But in the end, all it took was patience. All it took was intelligence. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I didn't break. I simply outplayed them. And when the dust settled, they were the ones left scrambling in the ruins, realizing too late that the person they underestimated was the one who walked away with everything.